Welcome back. I'm your host, Leslie Cottle, and you are listening to This Empowered Life podcast, the podcast delivering tools, knowledge, and wisdom to empower the soul. Today's episode is called The Art of Setting Intentions. If you're interested in having your mind and body work for you, keep on listening to hear about how setting intentions could help. All right, so I'm in a really fun exploration mode right now in my life where I am learning all about how thoughts and actions create reality. So, of course, this is an episode that's about intentions, and this weekend I set an intention about that. So the intention on Saturday was for me to see the truth of how action creates reality. And throughout the day, it felt like a journey, literally. I was shown so many cool things, and those realizations are a story for another day. But the point is that I set an intention, and by the end of the day, I had a new understanding of how actions and thoughts created reality. So the intention worked. And it just blows my mind at how cool. Like, our minds are just so cool. They're so cool. How diligent they are, how simple it is to redirect the mind to something, and also how few people actually know how to use their minds. How few people actually know how to use their minds. Ugh. And you can do this for your advantage. So I wanted to make an episode today about intentions. So you can use your mind for your life and for whatever it is that you want. Because you can really create an intention for anything and everything. For a mindset, if you want to discover information about something, you can literally set an intention for anything. So later in the episode, I will talk about why intentions are so powerful. But let's first talk about why we're setting intentions in general. And an intention is a way to guide yourself into alignment with, let's say, a plan or a discovery or how you want to think, be, do, or act. So an intention could sound like, I intend to see goodness around me. It could also sound like, I intend to create a safe and loving environment in my home or business. It could be, I intend to move forward after a breakup. Or it could even be, I intend to feel grounded. And why intentions are so important and powerful is that you're redirecting the mind to point out to you specific things that have to do with that intention. So if I'm making an intention about being grounded, if I tell myself and my body and I say, I intend to feel grounded, now my brain knows what information to actually bring into my attention, bring into my consciousness. Because what happens when we're not setting an intention is that you have to remember that your mind has 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. So that's a lot of thoughts. And if you're leaving it up to your mind to direct information to you, who knows really what's going to pop up without an intention. So intentions are fun and mindful ways to direct the brain and to direct the brain for your benefit, for whatever it is that you want. It's very fun. So when we set intentions, you're basically planting a seed for your mind to start growing. And again, we're just pulling this information that your brain already has it. Right? Most of the information that we gather is going into our unconscious mind. So this is a way to pull information from the unconscious mind into the conscious mind. And without setting an intention, it's kind of like driving a car without directions or hiking without a compass. And it's really easy to get lost, right? If we don't have that end point in mind. So without intentions, the mind just kind of does whatever it wants. And for many people, this really can lead to a lot of suffering because your mind doesn't actually know what you want. And it's running the show the best that it can, but when you're not involved, it doesn't know what to do with those 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. It doesn't know what to do with all of the data that it has in it. So when you're setting an intention, you get to choose what information is coming into consciousness. And you get to choose to direct the mind to work for you. And I want to point out that our minds, while they seem very complex, are actually really simple. And I like to think of the mind as a computer where it has all of this information stored in it, and everything that we do, the brain is collecting data. So that computer is getting more and more data every time that we're in a new interaction, every time we listen to something new, watch something new, have a new conversation. The brain is always collecting that data like a computer. And because we have all of this information, we can also ask questions to the computer or to your brain or to your body, and it responds to those questions with answers from the data that it has. So if I asked you, what's 2 plus 2? You're probably thinking 4. And if I ask you, what's red on a street corner and firemen use it, you're probably going to think a fire hydrant. If I ask you, what is your favorite breakfast? Your brain's probably going to have an answer for that. And so I could go on asking questions, but you can gather from this that your brain is always working to figure out something or to find something out. And because you're mindful of this, and when we're mindful of this, you can actually start to get the brain and body to work for you. And to get it to work for you, you have to be mindful about what it is that you want to receive, right? We have to know what we want. You have to know what you want. And then you have to ask for what you want. Most of us are really good about asking yes/no questions, about asking conversational questions. But we get to ask more complex questions or bring in more complex ideas so that your brain and your body can bring that information to you. And so that's where intentions become really useful, because your mind and your body has so much information, so much wisdom, that all you have to do is just really set an intention for what it is that you're seeking. I literally think this is the coolest thing ever. So, of course, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to set an intention that works for you. So, first thing that you have to do is that you have to know what you want. And then you have to be really clear about it. So if it's that you want to be grounded, be clear about what it is that you want to feel. If it's about business, be clear about what it is in business that you're seeking. If it's about relationships with people, be clear about how it is that you want to feel or what it is that you want to receive. The second thing that you need to do is that you have to believe that your intention is possible. And in hypnosis, there's this thing that's called the buy-in factor. So it's kind of like when you're watching a movie, you have to buy into it a little bit. You know that there's actors in a movie, you know that there are cameramen who've shot this, but you can be in the movie just enough that you get scared when something happens. You might jump, or your heart might start beating really fast. So there's this buy-in factor when you're watching a movie. Same thing in hypnosis, you have to buy into a little bit. And same thing with intentions. We have to buy into the idea that our brain is working for us, that our body is working for us. And we have to believe that because we're setting an intention, that it's possible. And the third thing I want to gift to you is that I just don't think about it too much. I know sometimes it's really easy to be like, oh, I need this exact thing, but you're allowed to change your intention anytime that you want. So rather than thinking a lot about what type of intention to make, I would say start with something smaller and just do it. Just do it, just do it, just do it. So that's it for today's episode. Enjoy setting your intentions, and I would love to hear about the intentions that you're setting and also how you're manifesting it in your world. Tune in Tuesdays for more yummy and soulful episodes. If you love what you're hearing and want to support the podcast, please follow and rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple to help new listeners find us. To find out more about my coaching and healing practice, head over to my website, www.lesliecottle.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.